Since everybody seemed to like the explanation of understanding how to align and aim with your driver based off the weights, let's get into something that's a little bit more simple but complicated and very misunderstood. Let's get into iron alignment. So to start out, usually when you see pros and stuff, or you go to an instructor, you get a lesson, they're gonna set up some alignment sticks or use some clubs. They're gonna give you a generalized idea. So they're gonna set up your feet down your target line, and they're gonna set up a club to give you your target line. There's two things about this that is very particular that I have to point out. Number one, yes, this gives you your target line that you're trying to go for, because 9 out of 10 times somebody's going to be set up slightly open, set up, and when you rotate your body to look, you're thinking you're in target line, but realistically, I always verify using my hips at address, and I always verify using my shoulders to figure out where I'm setting up in position. That's how I check. And it's always a good thing to check your hips to make sure that you're actually active, because your center of balance, your center of gravity, if you're in law enforcement or military, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You could kick somebody in the hip and you could fling their entire body weight, whether they're running at you or standing still, because this is your stable powerhouse. This is your platform and your foundation where everything's going to be off of. So checking your hips is always a good thing. Now, to the rest of it, use a magnet. If you have a flashlight with a magnet, it's great to be able to go and verify this, because this is the other half that I have to explain. When you're aiming, if you have new beginner clubs, super game improvement or whatever, there's generally going to be a color on that bottom groove. You're aiming your irons with your grooves, not the sole. And this is going to give you a good idea of where that face is set. The part that you shouldn't pay too much on when it comes to alignment sticks is technically your club path should not be dead straight. Your club path, because your body is in a couple different arcs, right? So you're going to have an arc that's going this way, and you have an arc that's going this way, as well as your follow through coming this way. Your swing is in a very three-dimensional rotation. So it's not going to be dead straight down your target line, especially if you're trying to get a slight draw or something into it, or you're like me, where you have a tendency to, on occasions, come over the top and then come from the inside out, or outside in, where you cut across it like that. That club path actually should be approximately 2 degrees out. And the reason that is you actually want that club face to be perfectly 2 degrees open at impact. Nothing's perfect in golf, so you got to actually accommodate for the whole entire thing. So your swing plane, again, is supposed to follow down that line. That gives you a good, clean section. The closer you can get to perfect center, the straighter the ball is going to go. But you want it to be optimally 2 degrees from the inside out. So being able to check, you do want your club face and everything down your target line. So you set up, and it gives you verification of, yes, my feet and body are in line towards what I'm aiming, and now my club face is in line to where I am aiming. This looks closed to a lot of newer people. In particular, if you're not very experienced with playing, it's going to look like your club's like this, when realistically it's not. Or you're trying to help the ball, so you open the face. Now your target line's way out there. That might actually cause you to snap hook it, because you have a whole lot of area for it to create side spin. Or if you're cutting across, that face is going to be open. That is going to give you one of the worst slices that you could possibly develop out of it. The next thing that I want to point out, you want to use static and dynamic loft in your swing. Static is the club as it sits, the way you see the red line pointing out the face. This is a 4-iron, so you can see how low this trajectory is supposed to go. How low can you go? Okay, so when you set up and you go to hit, you're actually going to use your dynamic loft, which you're de-lofting the club by cupping this hand. That's going to allow you to hit down on the ball first, and then take a divot and cause the ball to get height and spin. That's also engaging all the different lower weight and stuff in the sole of the club, in the cavity, if you're playing it. Same thing with the muscle backs and everything. That's why there's more meat in the bottom of the club. So again, it's going to be approximately 2 degrees open and somewhere between 1 to 2 degrees de-lofted. That's about the trajectory that you're going to get from your launch angle. Now, when you get into mid irons and stuff, again, going from a 4 iron into a 7 iron, you can see there is a bit of a difference to it. This is going to give you a lot higher loft to it. It's going to give you higher flight. Same thing, that 2 degrees is not much at impact. And that's how you're going to be aiming with it, because that's going to be your target line. When you're, again, set up for what you're trying to aim at, you're aiming with your grooves. If I aimed off of the sole, it actually would be lined up like this, because there's actually a little bit of a bubble on these irons in particular. And then the last one to point out, I'll use this one right here because of how drastic it is. This is a lob wedge. You don't really want to create a lot of dynamic loft with it. It already has a lot of loft as it is. You don't want to take that off, because with your wedges, you're trying to have it interact with the lowest point of the face. So you actually kind of want to come in almost hand square and stuff to impact. So the bottom of the grooves catch the ball first, which is going to give you the highest flight and the highest amount of spin. I can hit my lob wedge 105 yards. Do I want to hit it all the time? No. I want my lob wedge to be actually landing anywhere between 85 to 95 yards, because even as you can see some of the pros do the same exact distances, you're maximizing what this club is meant to do. Even so, most wedges have a teardrop shape to it. This sole on the front is going to be rounded. You have to go back off of your grooves. You have to use your grooves to line up your shot. This gives you, again, an idea of what you're trying to do with the direction of what you're aiming. You open up the face a little bit, you need to open up your stance a little bit, because you're trying to come in that plane so you could get that maximized point of impact. When you open your stance, it interacts with the bounce and the sole of the club more, which is going to give you more height and performance. Using a magnet like this is a good visual representation to tell you if you're aiming correctly or not. These flashlights usually go on sale about $50 or so, US, because I'm noticing that I got a lot of numbers of neighbors of the north, as well as people in Japan that are starting to watch this. So cool, thank you. You can pick these up for around 50 US bucks at Home Depot when they're on sale. You could just buy any other magnets and stuff. You could get the little automotive magnets, stick it to the face to go and give you a quick little representation. If you get Harbor Freight, they're like $1. So hopefully this gives you a little bit better of an idea of what could be a visual representation of how you need to aim your clubs. Just note that not everything has to be in a perfect dead straight line. A lot of stuff in golf is backwards. For instance, you don't want to hit square face into the shot, because you want it to actually be partially 2 degrees open if you're swinging from the inside out, because that is on that swing plane and that arc. Also, that's the way that physics works, centrifugal motion, all the other stuff. So if you have any questions, comments, concerns, or whatever on how I explain this, because this one's a little bit odd, if you want me to do other explanations on in-depth for each part individual, please leave a comment down below. I'll be happy to go and take time out of my day to be able to do this so you can understand it better, so you can actually have more fun. If you want to see more content like this, follow me for more. Please like and subscribe. Keep it in the fairway. Have a good one.